What's up guys, macadii here, and today guys, a very quick little video. Well, what we're going to be doing is having a chat about the recent Landorus-I ban and sort of my thoughts on it and some of the reasons why it got banned exactly. So if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like down below, I would really appreciate it. So first of all, what we're going to do is have a chat about exactly why they decided to ban Landorus, and then we're going to go on with my sort of thoughts on the whole situation. And I must admit, spoiler alert, I am a little bit shocked by it, and I know quite a few other people are, but we'll get into that later on. So we're going to start off by having a look at the main reasons why they decided to ban it. The main reasons seem to come from it's got a very variable move pool, it's got a huge pool of moves that it can choose from, and it means that you've got to try and work out exactly what move pool it's got before you can then work out what mon you might have that might be able to wall it. So for example, if it doesn't have Sludge Wave, Tapu Bulu can take it on very well, but then if it has Sludge Wave, you're going to get blown back from there. So it's sort of examples like that, which when it's got things like Focus Blast, Sludge Wave, Superpower, Knockoff, it's a very difficult mon to try and wall, especially if you don't know what the moveset is going to be. It's got absolutely insane power with the Life Orb and also Sheer Force. It means it doesn't take Life Orb Recall and it gets that Sheer Force boost, which means not only your Earth power is boosted, but a lot of its other special moves and some physical moves, but mainly the special ones like Sludge Wave, Focus Blast. You also have like Rock Slide for its physical moves that get boosted by Sheer Force, and a whole sort of wealth of other things as well. It's a very unpredictable mon. As I said, you've got to try and work out whether it's going to be a setup one, or whether it's going to be a sort of wall breaking one with Calm Mind, or whether it's just going to be 4 attacks, just designed to just generally wall break as much as possible. And it's a, you know, you got to try and really play hard to try and work out exactly what this guy is going to be doing. Moving on to the setup options, as I said, it has access to 2 very powerful moves. It's got Calm Mind, which allows it to boost its special attack and also its special defense, which means it's going to be ripping through more defensive teams, which, to be honest, I haven't really seen it on the ladder, so I don't know how much of a valid point that really is. But maybe that's just my experience for the time being. The ability to just rock polish up and also then outspeed pretty much the entire metagame from there is something that is very, very scary, especially when offensive teams don't have the best check to this guy. So I can kind of understand the sort of rock polish argument from that side. It's also got decent enough defenses to be able to take hits and set up, or even just dish out damage from there, which unlike Pheromosa, Pheromosa is pretty much as bulky as a wet blanket, but you know, Lando does actually have enough defenses to be able to take anything that's either sort of non-ice moves, and also even some water moves to an extent, to be able to take one hit and then smash back with a very powerful hit from there. In terms of actual counters, there's actually they're arguing that only Mega Latias and also Cresselia are the only ones that actually really wall Lando. To an extent, I would say maybe you could put Celesteela on that list. If it's got Focus Blast, you're still taking a lot of damage even if you're Spadef. But then you've still got to hit, I think, at least 3 or 4, I think, actually, Focus Blasts to be able to kill it from there. If you get your Leech Seeds up, you're protecting and things like that. So I don't know if I would call that a counter or not. So those were the main sort of arguments they had. In terms of my thoughts, I do agree that I think it should have been considered to be banned, but I think they've probably got the timing wrong on this one. I think it's a fantastic way to wall break and sort of put a lot of pressure on stall, and it pushes pressure on things like Toxapex, Tangrowth cores, you know, Toxapex, Tapu Bulu cores, and just lots and lots of different cores, especially when they involve Toxapex. Toxapex is a horrible, horrible mon to have to fight, because it's very passive, but it is very, very bulky, and it can be paired up with so many different things that make teams really struggle to try and break it. And I think Landorus was one of the best ways to be able to put a lot of pressure on those sorts of teams that really relied on Toxapex walling most of your team. Also, from like, this is a little bit biased, but from a personal enjoyment point of view, I haven't had too many issues facing it. Like, Landorus on a team is scary, I'm not going to doubt that, but I have found ways to be able to sort of handle it, and I've only had sort of once, I think maybe even twice, where they've rock polished up and I've gone, oh, I just lose now. I don't think it's actually been as big an issue. I don't know if that's just from my team building or something like that, but as I said, I've not had too many issues with it compared to a lot of Pokemon, and I've actually really enjoyed using it as well. I do really like it compared to how I use it in draft. I'm terrible with it in draft, but I love it on the ladder, I must admit. And, you know, Rock Polish is a really good set against offensive, but the thing is, even with that, you've only then got 3 moves to be able to pick from there, so it does still limit how much you can sweep. I don't know whether that you could argue that as being a good enough argument, but it is definitely an argument in the favour of keeping it, where, you know, Rock Polish, you have to use 1 move slot for that, and then you've only got 3 from there, and it's whether you can actually sweep, you know, a good proportion of teams from there. This is the biggest one. This is the one that I think I really disagree with. I'm starting to see Stool work its way into the ladder and into the metagame and stuff like that, and it's always going to be there. But considering one of the best ways to be able to put pressure on Stool, as I said, for things like Toxapex, Tangrowth Cores and stuff like that, to lose that could mean that there is going to be an increase and a rise in the amount of Stool that's going on. And I really don't want to see that, both from a content creator point of view, because it's very boring for you guys wanting to watch that, and also just from a personal point of view, I hate facing Stool. And while you could argue, yes, Landorus with Rock Polish is gone, so that means offense has a bit more of a chance, you've still got Pheromosa running around putting loads of pressure on offensive teams. So I still think, you know, if you want to really put a limiter on Stool, get rid of Pheromosa as well. Allow offensive teams to come back and actually be able to be as viable as they can, because that way you can put more pressure on Stool and hopefully sort of restrict it from that. It's a weird way of thinking, getting rid of the powerful offensive stuff to reduce Stool, but I think it could work. At least in my head. The other thing is as well, we've had a huge power creep this gen, which I know this guy is an absolute powerhouse, but there's so many other things that are so powerful that haven't really been discussed. Like Tapu Lele, for example. There are so few switches to a Specs Tapu Lele. You can get it right though, you can switch in your Metagross, but then if they're going for a Shadow Ball, you're going to get blown back from there. So I think, like, while Lando is very powerful, and their main argument is the amount of power and obviously the move pool to be able to hit things very hard, I would say the argument can also still be extended for things to, like Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele does not get the setup, I must admit, but it's the fact that it puts so much offensive pressure, and most teams don't even have a good switch into it, is why I think there were so many other things that you could consider outside of that. So that's just my thoughts on this entire thing. Let me know, guys, what you do think on this. I'm, you know, as I said, I don't really want to be too biased, but I do really like the guy anyway. But hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you guys at the next one. Macadii out.